All right, what is up, you guys? What is up, you guys? Something's going on weird in here with my with my stuff. Okay, we're back. I don't know why, but it wasn't showing the right scenes here. Okay, so I'm in a long trade right now. I hope it's not the wrong decision. Well, I hope. Poor people hope. Anyway, let's see what's gonna happen with this. I'm pretty confident in a long trade. Maybe I rushed the entry a little bit. I don't know. We're gonna see. Or maybe my stop loss is not well placed, but the thing is that I don't want to risk any more than about $150 on this. So it's either gonna take me out or not. Or it's gonna take me in, you know. Yeah. So pretty obvious the reasons why I'm going long here. But for anyone who might have, questions, doubts about the reasons why I'm going long here, let's just quickly talk about that. So I'm going to start off by looking at the 4-hour chart, which, it's pretty obvious. Like even if you're gonna mix, I don't know, like classic support and resistance concepts with ICT concepts, they're all gonna meet in the same point. So the points that they're gonna meet in is first gonna be, well, we definitely are looking at price taking sell side liquidity, and then obviously we're seeing it rejecting from there. The rejection not only that occurs through this fat 4-hour candle that it closed right here, but also through the creation of this BISI, and also through the fact that this current 4-hour candle went down, rebalanced the BISI, and then it rejected. Not only this, if we're going to look at the current structure right here, we had a trending move to the downside, small pullback, trending move, bigger pullback with a nice consolidation in here, then trending move. Now, if you were to consider that price created this low and then made a pullback and then it broke lower, right now we just closed back inside the range that it went under. So the range that it went under was from that low to that high, this whole range over here. And we just closed inside that range with the previous 4-hour candle that just closed. Not just closed, because it closed like 3.5 hours ago, but whatever, you got the point. So closing inside the range that it previously broke out of is basically a very strong indication that price might actually want to go higher and take some buy side before actually going lower or just simply reversing. Also, let's not forget that this is the fourth week, the last week of the month of July. It is also Thursday, which is the last quarter four of daily quarter four of monthly, like weekly quarter four of monthly quarter four, whatever you want to say. So Thursday, Q4 of month of July. Then we also have this current week, which is fourth month, Q4 of July. And we're either going to see a continuation to the downside or a reversal. Now, I'm just looking here. This current quarter started, hold on. This current quarter, so today, Q4 of this week started, today, actually yesterday. 30th of July, 6 p.m. New York time. And yeah, it started with that big fat bullish candle, and then it just continued to go up, closing back inside the range, creating that bullish fair value gap. And right now I see this area over here at yesterday's high as a smooth area, nice buy side liquidity area that price might actually want to reach into. Now, if we're going to move on to the 5 minutes, we're going to see that, okay, here's my indicator. Price had slightly swept under the low of the London session here. But if we're going to look at candle bodies, we're mostly going to see that they were flat. Whereas for silver, they were really going down. So we are pretty much safe to say, at least for now, that what's going on here is that gold is finding some sort of support over here into that 4-hour BISI. Just took me out right now. Like I said earlier, I might have entered a little bit too early. Maybe I should have waited for 9:30 open. Yeah, definitely should have waited for 9:30 open because this really seems more of a liquidity sweep. But I'm going to wait a little more until I re-enter. Maybe it can inverse this BISI. Oh my god, just look at it. So fucking weird. Anyway, so now just looking at that, the fact that we had more like relatively equal lows being created here, whereas silver was definitely going lower. It's basically indication of the fact that you're seeing stronger gold. So what are you going to do in a stronger market? Obviously going to go long. I took the long trade because I've seen price creating this BISI, rebalancing and then rejecting off of it, going back again inside of it and then rejecting again, therefore creating a new BISI over here. And once it actually started to reject from that, I went long once this candle was actually going higher in here, 920 candle, but it just took me out. So right now I'm $143. A little earlier during the London session, I took another long. It went really nice. And right now I gave back some of that profit, but that's fine. I'm still on the green side here. And yeah, just going to continue to see what it's going to do further. I am, though, getting ready to re-enter based on whatever it's going to do here. If it's just going to do something that it's going to, I don't know, something that's going to scream by me. 15 minute also looking Pretty bullish, I would say, but more like 30 minutes. Okay, we also had that busy here, which was rebalanced. So I want to check this out. See if there's been any smaller time frame SMT. Okay. I think I'm gonna wait for price. So either wait for a sweep here and then a rejection to take a long, or it's going to keep respecting this 5-minute busy where it's also showing a 1-minute busy, and then just inverse that, leave a busy behind, rebalance, and then go higher. Oh, hold on, my battery is running low. 6% remaining. Goodness. Hold on, you guys. Just enjoy the music. Someone asking if I trade other assets aside from gold. No, I don't. Only gold. Like if you're referring to day trading, yeah, only gold. Okay, so let's see what this thing is gonna do. Still inside that BISI over here. Yeah, okay, right now it seems to be invalidating it, but we'll just keep on watching because I just don't know what the short continuation. I mean, yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, if it's gonna invalidate this BISI, then likely we're gonna see it moving lower, but if not, I don't think so. Okay, guys, hold on. I need to make a phone call. right, guys, back. Sorry guys, sorry for all these interruptions. I am getting ready to move to a new freaking city, and I just need to arrange a lot of things, and I need to make a lot of phone calls, and that's why I keep you know, making these pauses and these breaks. And this is also reason why I've currently stopped trading on the, or stopped live streaming on the London session, because during the morning I just want to focus on myself, and I just want to get things done with the moving and everything, and put everything at the right place at the right time and everything. And then I think that I'm gonna be a lot more ready to do 2 live stream sessions per day. But right now I just don't feel that much focused during the London session. I just want to get done with the things that I need to do for moving. And yeah, anyway, someone saying here in the chat, I think that Daniel something, no, Donna, Samuel came yesterday for the first time in the live stream, and he got hooked. He or she, anyway. Oh, there you go. I will have to mute myself again because, yeah, someone's calling with the moving. Okay, I'm back again. Sorry, guys. Alrighty. Alrighty. Last trade that I'm trying for today. And if this one will flop, I want to be out. I want to be out. Okay, so I was saying that I'm going to move to a new city, and it's a big change that I'm making, but it's a necessary one. I mean, I have to move, and I have to move, and the idea, meaning that I'm super okay moving. I really need to do this for myself. So if I'm gonna move, and when I'm gonna move, I just want to leave everything in here at the location where I'm moving from. Want to leave everything in order and everything so that I am not gonna feel, I don't know, pressured or something like that, whatever. So that's the reason basically why I've currently stopped live streaming on the London session. And obviously I do want to restart the live streams. And yeah. Okay, let's see what this baby's gonna do here, because it inverted that sort of like, let me see. Okay, so if you guys have questions, just go ahead and ask them, pop them in the chat. So like I said, if this trade will also take me out, if this one's also gonna take me out, I'm gonna call it a day in terms of taking any more trades. But I'm still gonna keep watching it, you know, look at it, paper trade it, whatever. I mean, not paper trade it, but yeah, it seems it's gonna go for my stop loss eventually. What an asshole. Or maybe I just rushed. Yeah, I definitely rushed. Okay, I'm out. I'm out. Like, if this thing's gonna go back up, I'm just gonna... I'm gonna go like Tanya trades. I'll just be so tired if it does this. Oh my god. Someone asking if I have a video explaining the details of the model that we're trading here. Yeah, I do. I do. You're gonna find it on the channel. It's I can actually just hold on. I'll post the link. Just hold on. Give me a second. Uh, Filter, visibility, public. Brace your horses, okay? Brace yourselves because it's a long video. You can't really explain something this complex in a 15-minute video. So if you're gonna feel overwhelmed by a 2-hour video, just reconsider trading because it's definitely not for you. Oh my god, just look at this. No, why the what a crap. What a crap. Come on. Why would you do this? Yeah, because it had to touch on the 75 level. Obviously, Alex. Obviously. Of course it had to. Anyway, still doesn't mean it's gonna go up. Okay, so maybe it was not a good idea to trade one day before non-farm payroll, especially considering that if you look at today's price action, let me just remove some of these things in here. If you look at price action, hold on. Like if you look at today's price action, it didn't really do anything. It mainly just ranged. I mean, I usually never count Asia session as being part of today because, in my opinion, it isn't. Asia session price action to me, it belongs to the previous trading day. So if we're going to look at 12 midnight open, which was around here, price went up, then came down to open, then went back up, and so honestly, it isn't doing anything, but it's just ranging. So yeah, I guess it was a bad idea to begin with to continue to trade today on the New York session, especially considering the fact that I had a nice win on the London. So yeah, the losses that I just took are definitely on me. Definitely on me. Yeah. So the losses are definitely on me. I should not have continued the trade. Are you moving somewhere to Romania or other country? Yeah, I'm moving in another city. It's about 600 kilometers away from my current city, from my current location, and I'm quite nervous, to be honest with you. Quite nervous because yeah, because it's a completely new thing for me. Like, people there in that city are like from another country. I don't know how to explain this thing, even though they're still Romanians, but somehow everything is very different. I don't know why, but it's just the way things are over there. So yeah. Anyway, I'll be fine. It's gonna be super okay. I'm very confident, honestly, in this move. Yeah, just look at this thing, the shenanigans that it's doing. Like, you can't really trade something like this, honestly. Really can't. Yeah, it's just doing nothing. Nothing really. Hmm. Get this nice rebalance here, but no, 1 minute, 1 minute. There is this slight thingy over here. But yeah. Oh my god, I want to remove something and it just keeps on removing something else. Yeah, definitely going lower. After that 15-minute CB rebalance and this small SMT here on this fourth quarter signaling continuation. Sort of like gold taking buy side, only to continue to move lower because it really didn't really have like a clear displacement and imbalance above this high here. That basically also created that 5 minute, the 15-minute CB. So it's gonna keep on watching. Let's see what it does once it reaches, like once it creates a new New York session low. But yeah, I was wrong. Now I realize that I was wrong in looking for longs. I mean, I was, let's say, it was okay looking for longs earlier during the London session. But right now, considering that usually London session is sort of like more like a, how would you say, more like a stop hunt, whatever. And that New York usually tends to continue the dominant direction of the trend. I would say that, yeah, it was okay to look for longs on London, but now on New York, I guess should be focusing on short setups, because let's not forget that the draw on liquidity, at least for now, seems to be down here. And yeah, if we're gonna look at the daily chart, let's look at what happened on Tuesday on the 29th. Price opened, went up, and then the next day, yesterday, it just completely smashed the originating point of those of that bullish day, right? So July 29th open price, we can actually just mark that level here. Just make that a fat line. So July 29th opening price on the daily chart, that was basically a bullish day. So the open price of a bullish candle on a daily chart especially basically just signals, you know, originating point of buyers. If we're going to put it this way, yeah, originating point of buyers. And then yesterday completely smashed that. So right now it's just only normal for price somewhat to go back at the open price of that. So basically where we initially had long orders coming in that were right now being completely smashed. You could consider that, like, if you want it as if you want to look at it as a bearish order block, I guess you can, but I would rather look at it as a lower time frame mitigation block. So what I want to do right now is just go on the smaller time frame, like 4 hour, maybe 1 hour, and see from the beginning of that day, like from that price level to the upside, what, like, that was basically just smart money manipulating to the upside. And I was talking the other day with someone, and we were talking about, like, if you're going to zoom in here, these 2 days of price action, okay, just look at it from this perspective. What are you guys seeing? Like, what I see is a high, a low, then a higher high, a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then, right, a consolidation. So if we were to focus on the multitude of higher highs and higher lows, like this very bullish structure that was created in here, I just don't want to think about the massive number or massive cohort of market participants that are actually going long in that portion of time. So right now, if we were to consider that, we could even be talking about smart money, central banks buying in here, right? And then shorting, we could just say that they're going to go back to the entry price of longs that are in drawdown once yesterday smashed that to the downside. And right now they just go back up there to sort of like mitigate their long manipulative orders. I don't know if it makes sense. I hope it does. But yeah, I guess it would have been a very, very, very strong reason why not to look for longs, especially not on the New York session, especially not in the beginning of the New York session. And also because I've stated yesterday that I only want to look for long trades only if a daily high is going to be broken. And for now, that has not happened. So, yeah. I watched the long video. Isn't that about S&T divergence? I want to know your entry model as you don't use fair value gap. Of course I use fair value gap. What do you mean I don't use fair value gap? Like, what? What do you mean? All my trades are based on fair value gaps. SMT plus fair value gaps. All my trades. Like literally all my trades. Also, does it matter that price was still above midnight open? When looking for long trades, I would say it's better for price to be under midnight open, but also think about it like this. If this is midnight open, okay, price went down, swept sell side, and then it goes above midnight open, starts to leave BISI behind, right? Rebalances, goes higher, leaves BISI behind. Right now, if you're going to wait for a price to go back under midnight open, you might not actually get that chance, you know, because if price continues to break higher, creating bullish fair value gaps, then there is a weak chance, if it ought to continue to move higher, there's a pretty weak chance that price might actually want to go back under midnight open because it already broke above midnight open with imbalance, you know. If we would have had like price, I don't know, just opening midnight open and then just going straight up like that and never coming under midnight open, then yeah, then I would not consider that it would be such a good idea. Maybe, you know, waiting for a purge of the sell side, this trend line sell side. Also looking into maybe going under midnight open and then looking for long trades, then yeah, that would make a lot more sense. But if price opened, went down, swept sell side, and then it moved above midnight open with momentum, with imbalance, with displacement, came back to midnight open, then it's moving higher again, leaving fair value gaps behind. I would say that if you're going to wait like for a third move under midnight open, it's like you're just purposefully wanting to miss out on your opportunity to go long. I mean, midnight open was here, you know, price went up, came down, swept this area, okay, and then it started to move up with imbalance. And if you're going to look at this area in here, this push to the upside, right, that came, swept that consolidation under midnight open. Okay, so swept here under midnight open, and then it started moving higher. You're going to see created this BISI, rebalanced, move higher, created this BC, rebalanced, move higher, right? So yeah. Hope it makes sense. But right now I can definitely see why I did not play this the way I should have. Because yeah, like I said, like first half of New York, including like the whole session of New York. Yeah, I should not have gone long. Should not have looked for long trades. Not a chance, not at all. I keep repeating this so that you guys just, you know, could possibly learn from whatever I'm failing here. Yeah. Oh, look at this. And you see that small little area here. Well, small my ass, because it's not small. Maybe you're gonna ask, why would I consider that SMT divergence relevant? Well, it's very simple. I said that so many times, and I'm going to say it again because I'm sure that either some of you did not catch this, or if you did, it's never, it's never going to harm you to hear the information again. Maybe it's going to give you an aha moment. The way to spot SMTs, it's really simple. Like, first, look at daily highs, daily lows on both pairs, the correlated pairs, right? And if, for example, you're going to see that on one pair, on gold, for example, we had a daily low and then the next day went lower. And then on silver, for example, price had a daily low, the same low, right? And then on silver, it created a higher low, then boom, that's your SMT. Okay, so first spot SMT divergences through the help of looking at specific price levels, identifying them by either being daily highs, lows, session high lows, or sessions as in kill zones, right? For example, if I'm going to look at trying to identify SMTs, okay, what I want to do is I want to start by looking at the first session of the day, okay, or the last session that just closed. So when I come in front of the charts during the London session, at the beginning of the London session, the most recent session that just closed, obviously, is going to be the Asia session. And Asia session will always be represented on my charts inside this green rectangle. Okay, so everywhere, every time you see a green rectangle on my charts, just know that that is the whole price action of the Asia session. Okay, so I want to look at the low, where the low of the Asia session is, and where's the high of the Asia session. And then I want to locate what's the low of the Asia session on silver and what's the high of the Asia session on silver. Okay, now if I'm going to look at the high, I'm going to see the high on the high of the Asia session on silver. I'm going to see that it pretty much coincides in terms of hour with the high that it was created on gold, right? But if I'm going to look at the low here, like the low of the Asia session on silver was created at 9:45 p.m., whereas 9:45 on gold was already at the middle of the Asia session. And then I go, okay, but where is the low of the Asia session on gold? And I go and I see that it's right here, 7 p.m. So 7 p.m. as opposed to almost 10 p.m. on silver, boom, I know that in here somewhere there must be an SMT divergence. Okay, so again, I'm helping myself to identify SMT divergences by going spot on the whole range of the most recent closed session. Okay, so I've identified that. Okay, so low of the London session, low of the Asia session on silver, it went lower than what low? Than this one. Okay, what did gold do? What are those price levels that formed at the exact same hours on gold? Well, I have this low over here, which on gold is a low, and then I have this low over here, right, which on gold is a higher low, and on silver I have a lower low, and then it created a push to the upside. On silver, created a minor break of structure with a BISI, rebalanced, and then move higher. Okay, so if I'm seeing this, if I'm helping myself by looking at specific pieces of price action that are relevant, which are what? Kill zones, highs and lows, then it's going to be very, very easy for me. If I identify that the low of one pair, the low of the Asia session on one pair was created at a certain hour, and the low of the Asia session of the other pair was created at a totally different hour, then boom, I've just discovered the SMT divergence because they were created at different hours. Okay? Now, also, let's say that I just don't know that this is the range of the Asia session. I just don't know. Okay? So let's just assume that I don't have the kill zone indicators on my chart. If that is the case, then what I can do in order to identify divergences is just look on the trading pair, look at those areas or those, how should I say it? Pieces of price action where price created strong candles in a single direction. Like, for example, if we're going to zoom in here, okay, this price action, bullish candle, bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish, didn't really do so much, right? Okay, but then I have this move, which really stands out if I were to compare it to this move. Especially it stands out because it was moving like Speedy Gonzalez, if you want. What do I mean by this? Well, in here, price moved from that low to that high, 85 pips, and it did that in 1 hour and a half, okay? Whereas in here, price moved 60 pips, right? And it did that in 15 minutes. So if you think about it, 1 hour and 35 minutes versus 15 minutes, definitely, this move is a lot faster. Even though it didn't move 80 plus pips like this whole range did in here, I don't care because it moved more than half of that in a lot less time. Okay, so I've identified a piece of price action that had two important aspects, two important criteria being met: speed and distance. So it is moving away distance from a price level where it spent quite some time there, and it's doing that with speed. What does it mean? Speed means it takes less time for you to travel sort of like the same distance, okay? That is speed. Less time to move the same distance, okay, as the other range did. So if I identify this, then I'm going to go and I'm going to say, okay, where did this move start from? This move to the upside, where did it start from? Well, I could say it started from here. Okay, 945. What happened at 945? Because here on gold, it was definitely a higher low. Okay, definitely a higher low. Like I had a low, another higher low, another higher low, another higher low, another higher low. Okay, and I could take that and put it like this so that you guys can see it. Okay, whereas on silver, this is the 945 candle, which was the lowest low that was created during the Asia session. Was 945 low the lowest low that was created during the Asia session on gold? No. And boom, I've found my SMT divergence. So you're either going to look at specific times of the day, specific time ranges, like daily highs and lows, session highs and lows, kill zone highs and lows. Oh, and you're going to identify your SMT divergences by looking at those levels, or you are simply going to identify, look for price levels that have been traded with speed and distance, and then see if it did the same thing as in higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, lower lows on the correlated pair. And if it didn't, then you found your divergence. Okay, so it eventually created a new low for this. Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. I wanna have a discussion with myself. Why did I not wait for that level to be purged? Anyway, okay, I'll be right back, guys. Excuse me a second. Oh my God, I'm back. What up, you guys? What is this thing doing? What is this thing doing? Nothing. It isn't doing nothing. Yeah. Absolutely not doing anything. Yeah. Well, note to self, don't look for long setups until price will reach those equal lows on the daily chart. 30, what is that? 32.45. Something like that. Until then, I think that shorts are going to be higher probability, definitely. All right, guys. Well, I guess I'll just call it a day. It is what it is. I'm left in my balance today with $24.66. Well, not in my balance, God forbid. In today's profit making, whatever. Well, talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care.